If you're doing collabs, that means you're doing list swaps. Maybe you're guesting on people's podcasts, or you're running presentations in summits or inside people's communities. Anything where you're borrowing or exposing yourself to someone else's audience, it can be really hard to track if you're actually getting traffic lead sales from those collaborations. If you're doing these right now, you probably just look at the numbers around when that collaboration happened and look and see, okay, there was a flurry of opt-ins right after that went live. Those must be from that. Or there were a bunch of purchases that week. Okay, those must be from that collaboration. But if that podcast is live for 6 months, a year longer, and people are continuing to listen and then opt in or buy from you because of that podcast, how do you measure the ROI of a collab when you're getting people onto your email list and then maybe they're buying from you 6 months, 12 months later? How can you tie that back originally to they came from that collaboration? I'm Allie, I'm a data-backed marketing strategist, and I help businesses track and measure their marketing so they can make data-backed decisions on this is worth doing again, this is not anymore, or I'm going to try this again, but I know exactly what I need to do differently to get better results. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I advise my clients and students to track their collabs. We use UTMs in the links that we give to our collab partners so that we're able to really clearly see how many people are coming from that collab. Are they doing the things that we want them to do, like purchasing or opting in? And if they are, then we log that in our tracking system. So if they then buy from us again or convert 6 months, 12 months, however long down the line, we're still able to tie that back to the original collab and know that this person came from this collaboration or this partnership. If you are done guessing what's working in your marketing, make sure that you hit subscribe because I post new videos regularly and I cover all different marketing activities and how to track them. Now, I'm going to say collab pretty universally, and that can apply to any sort of partnership that you are working with another business and kind of borrowing or extending on their audience. So it can be anything from a list swap to you being featured on a summit. It can be you guesting on someone's podcast or a workshop, or maybe doing a partnership blog, anything like that, where the asset is living on something that that person owns and then sending that traffic back to you. Sometimes collabs are paid collabs. Sometimes they are just free partnerships. It doesn't really matter what the setup of it is. How we track and measure it is always the same. If you've done collabs before, you know that they take a heck of a lot of time, especially if you are creating original content for it, like you're recording a presentation for a summit, or you're writing an email or a couple emails for that list swap. They take time and energy, and you want to make sure that if you're doing them, it's actually worth it. And if you're like me, who does a number of collabs, I tend to aim for 1 to 2 per month, then I want to be able to know which specific collab was actually worth it. And then in a year's time, if they run that summit again, or if they want to run a similar collaboration, I know, yes, this one was worth it, or no, this one might not be the best fit for me and my audience. So the most important thing that you need when you are running collabs and you want to track them are using UTMs. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go into the basics of what a UTM is and how it works. I covered that in my UTMs for Beginner video. So if you want all the foundational knowledge of how they work, go watch that video. But essentially, a UTM is a little tracking code that you put on the end of any links that come back to your website that will tell your Google Analytics or your tracking systems where that link came from. So we want to have a UTM specific to that collab that, one, says what the collab was, and 2, explains what that specific link in that collab was. Because where collaborations can get a little bit more complicated than a standard UTM that you might use in an email or on a social post, is that it needs to, one, say it's a collab, but then say this was the email link for this collab, or this was the link in the summit portal for this collab. And so there's kind of 2 aspects of it, which make it a little bit more complicated. So if you got to this point, you're like, Allie, this sounds complicated, just tell me what the heck I need to do. The best thing that you can do is take a look at my product, UTMs Made Simple. It is a Airtable powered UTM builder, and it has a strategy built into it. It has a strategy built across many different marketing channels. Collabs is obviously one of those, and you just need to answer 3 questions on your collab link. 1, is it a collab? Yes, we've answered that already. Question 2, what type of collab is it? Is it a list swap? Is it a podcast guesting? Are you speaking in a summit? And then number 3 is, where is that link going to live? So is that a link that's going to be shared in their email or on their website or on their social channels? You just need to answer those 3 questions. It will fill out the UTM strategy for you. You'll need to customize the collab name and the specific topic that it's about, and then your link is ready to share. And then once you've tagged your links, let me show you what you can do with that data. When I go to analyzing which collabs are actually worth it or which one had a positive ROI, there are 2 places that I look for that data. First, I look at my Google Analytics data because those UTMs that I was tagging have been passed into Google Analytics, and I know that I'm also tracking conversions, so that'll be able to tell me how much traffic came from each of those collabs, and did they end up signing up for my list, inquiring to work with me, buying from me, whatever those conversions are that you're tracking. And the second place that I look for that data is in my lead tracking sources, where I actually have those UTMs mapped into my lead tracker, which I have a dashboard that pulls that in, but that could also be pulling into your email marketing platform or your CRM or wherever that data is living for you. And I'm going to show you how I pull and analyze both of those sets of data. So the first one here is Google Analytics data. Now, I use dashboards to do all my analysis. I hate analyzing directly out of Google Analytics. It sucks for data visualization. So this is a Data Studio dashboard that is connecting directly into my Google Analytics. And what we're looking at here is all of the traffic to my website. And then there is a formula here that looks at the different UTM sources and highlights where that traffic came from. And I can actually drill down into each individual UTM parameter on here and dig a little bit deeper. I'm not going to go that complicated in this specific video, but you can see here that in this time period that we're looking at here of last month, there was about 2,500 people that came from collabs, and I can see exactly how many leads came through and how many purchases came from those collabs. And I could drill down deeper and say, okay, was it the collab that I did last month, or are these people coming in from podcast guestings that I did 2 years ago? Which specific ones? Who were they with? And all of that data is here in my Google Analytics. The second type of data that I want to be able to see is that if somebody discovers me on one of these collabs and then signs up for my list or a freebie, or they buy something from me, I want their contact tag to then be associated with that collab so that I can go back and see where did they come from. To get this data, we need to map those UTMs into our lead tracker. So again, I use Data Studio as the place that I want to analyze all of my data, and that will connect directly into my lead tracking systems that are all in Google Sheets just like this. So this isn't where I analyze them, to be clear, this is just where the data lives, but every single time that somebody signs up for a freebie from me or inquires about my services or they buy something from me, we map the UTM of where that came from along with that specific opt-in. And then I have that logged here in my lead tracker, which then funnels directly into my dashboards. And then I'm able to look at a specific funnel and analyze how well a funnel is converting and see exactly where those specific opt-ins came from, if they purchase later, etc., etc. And then the other thing that I love about this is I can look at a specific subscriber. This is all test data. Let's take this Paisley, for instance. And then I'm able to see what are all the things that this subscriber has opted in for, what have they purchased, how much money did I get from them. And because my UTMs are mapped, I can dig into the data to see the traffic source or the specific UTM parameters for each of these interactions. This gives me the ability to go into each individual collab that I've done, go back and see exactly how many people got onto my list from that collab, how many people purchased from that collab, and even if they purchased 6 months, 12 months later, I'll still be able to tie that back to that individual collab as this is how that person discovered me, or maybe this is the thing that convinced them to make that first purchase. Then I'm able to know, is continuing to do these worth the time and energy that I need to put into it to make it a success? Or is this somebody that I want to collaborate with again down the line? Or is this just a shiny object? And if I'm really at capacity, this isn't something that's worth the extra resources right now. So if you want to start knowing exactly which of your collabs are bringing traffic, leads, and sales to your website, the most important thing that you can start doing is using UTMs. The link to my UTM builder is in the description below. Again, that has the UTM strategy that I recommend to all of my clients and students built into the builder. So you don't need to fully understand the full breadth of UTMs and why sometimes we do it this way and why sometimes we do it that way. It's all built into the builder. You answer those 3 questions about your collab. It will prepare your UTM link. You go share that with your collaboration partners, and then the data will be funneling into your Google Analytics or your lead tracking systems, whatever you have set up. And of course, if you want the full system that I showed you here with the dashboards and everything, that is all within the Data Backed Entrepreneur. The Data Backed Entrepreneur includes UTMs Made Simple, so you don't need to buy both. If you buy Data Backed Entrepreneur, it's already included in it. And no matter which way you go, as long as you start tagging your UTM links for your collabs moving forward, you'll be able to have that data in your backend ready to go and analyze. I've got a whole bunch of other videos coming up all around UTMs. Stay tuned for that so you can track all of your different marketing channels.